Hi, I'm Alex, welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Now I did vow that after the previous day where I double uploaded that I would never do it again, but it seems that Raj and his team at HITI have other ideas. With results this good, it'll be a sleepless night for me anyway, so I may as well discuss it on here. In today's video, we're talking about HITI again, but specifically addressing the Q1 financials, which were released after hours today, or yesterday, depending on how long it takes me to get this uploaded. In short, I'm very pleased with the results. We will discuss exactly what this means for us as investors, what it means for guidance for the rest of the year, potential analyst upgrades, and much more. If you're interested in HITI, then this is not one you want to miss. For those that don't like HITI content or want a bit more variety, I hear you totally, and there's some other interesting videos coming soon. Bear with me on this. I'm asking the same favour now as always too. Please smash the like button. Please do your bit for the cause in helping the YouTube algorithm know that finance YouTube doesn't need so much clickbaity content. Your help over the last videos has been amazing. Please keep it up, it's massively appreciated. The algorithm now also seems to be slowly learning as the videos are being pushed to a wider audience than they were before, so thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to see more content, want to join the private Discord and private video calls, then check out the Patreon link in the description below. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only, but let's get straight into it. So look, in short, really good results. I'm not going to read out the financials to you. We'll touch on them very quickly, but we'll focus on the really important parts and then dive into the analysis and what this means for us as investors going forward. As expected, on a revenue basis, HITI reported revenues of $38 million. This is a growth of almost 180% on the Q1 period for 2020, which is staggering. But don't forget that a large portion of this has been driven by acquisitions, specifically the acquisition of Meta Growth. This is important to keep in mind because that entire growth figure is not entirely organic growth, so you can't expect this quarter on quarter without new acquisitions being made. They reported good gross profit as well, $14.8 million, with margins increasing to 39% from 35%. This is clearly showing the benefits of scale and where the company have been able to drive greater efficiency within the cost of sales line. Adjusted Ebitda, in my opinion, is fantastic. Personally, I was expecting around $3 million, as I shared in my video following the full year earnings, but they reported $4.6 million of adjusted Ebitda, which I'm very pleased with. Now, I'm not going to repeat what I said in my previous video that I made earlier today about why you don't want to focus on net income, EPS, or non-adjusted Ebitda for that reason too. Please do check that if you're looking at the net income figure which has decreased and are worried. There's nothing to worry about. I've looked through all the adjustments. They're all non-cash, non-recurring and valid adjustments in my opinion, so I'm not going to get into that technical accounting here as that's way too boring for this video. Overall though, a great set of results, especially in the midst of an ongoing global pandemic. But what's next? What does this mean for us? Now, rightly or wrongly, the first question on most people's minds at this point in time will probably be, what impact will this have on the stock price? Now, before I answer this, a quick reminder that this is a long-term investment. Holding this stock for a long time horizon, riding the inevitable ups and downs along that journey is where the real returns will be generated, not through trading around catalysts such as the earnings here. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, and it's a hard one to call this. This is a great set of earnings, and they have beaten the analyst estimates, and we'll come on to that exact point in more detail shortly, and so logically you would expect this to have a positive impact on the stock price. That being said, we have seen many companies recently report good earnings, but actually the stock price fall subsequently following this. In summary, it may increase, it may decrease, or it may just trade sideways. However, if you're invested in this stock for the long term, it really shouldn't matter. Now, the next important point to address is that of the analyst estimates and the price targets. As a reminder, ATB recently updated their forecasts and price targets, estimating around $174.4 million of revenue and $18.3 million of Ebitda for the full year 2021. As we know, in both 2019 and 2020, Q1 accounted for around 17% of the sales for the full year. With this in mind, we can then assume that 17% of ATB's forecast relates to this Q1 period. That then implies a Q1 performance on the basis of ATB's forecast of $29.6 million in sales and $3.1 million on an Ebitda basis. Clearly, HITI has outperformed this quite materially, by 29% on a revenue basis and by 48% on an Ebitda basis. On the back of this, I do expect to see analysts upgrade their price targets in the coming days. Part of the reason I'm rushing this video out is that maybe they try and get the revision in before the long weekend. Maybe that's being optimistic, but let's see. Now, taking this a step further, knowing that historically Q1 has accounted for around 17% of the full year, we can then extrapolate this out to give us an indication of what the full year financials may look like. On this basis, we could see 2021 deliver for HITID $225 million of revenues and potentially $27.1 million of Ebitda. Now, I'm not saying this will be the case, and there are many factors which could impact this too, but directionally it could be sensible. Personally, for the sake of conservatism, I would suggest looking at that as a bull case from an Ebitda perspective. The one other important factor to consider here, though, is the fact that the company has completed the acquisition of Smoke Cartel, but the financials from Smoke Cartel are not included within these Q1 financials. So those financials will represent an uplift to what we're seeing here. We know that Smoke Cartel makes around $1.5 million of Ebitda, and that this is before synergies. And so personally, I'm really excited to see the impact on the financials which this acquisition has when they release the half-year results in around 3 months' time. In summary, I'm happy with these results, and I think there's very little for the market to dislike about them. What this has given me, in addition to what we've already discussed, is an even greater degree of confidence in this management team. To recap, during this quarter, they've delivered a great set of results, demonstrated conservatism in their guidance, beaten analyst estimates, delivered impressive new store openings, completed 2 acquisitions and integrated 1 of those, progressed along the path for the Nasdaq uplisting, and successfully had HITID included in an ETF. Personally, I'm really excited to see what they deliver us over the coming months. I'd love to see another acquisition, more organic store openings, and perhaps some traction with banks to secure cheaper bank funding rather than relying on equity funding. However, I do think there are many exciting months ahead of us, and we need to be patient and remember that this is a long-term investment. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and check out the link in the Patreon if you're interested in the Discord chat, the video calls, and a load of other stuff. As always, please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I find it so interesting to hear all the different views, opinions, and everything, so please get involved. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.